Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 11 of chapter 1. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu
Ayaneshu cha sarveshu
yatha bhagam avasthitaah
yatha bhagam avastitaah
bhishmam eva bhirakshantu
bhishmam eva bhirakshantu
bhavantas sarva eva hi.
bhavantas sarva eva hi.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ayaneshu,
Ayaneshu,
in the strategic points,
in the strategic points, cha,
also,
also,
sarveshu,
sarveshu,
everywhere,
everywhere,
yatha bhagam,
yatha bhagam,
as differently arranged,
as differently arranged,
avasthitah,
avastita,
situated,
situated,
bhishmam,
Bhishma,
unto grandfather Bhishma,
unto grandfather Bhishma,
eva,
Eva,
certainly,
certainly,
abhirakshantu,
Abhirakshantu,
should give support,
should give support,
bhavantaha,
Bhavantaha,
you,
you,
sarve,
Sarve,
all respectively,
all respectively,
eva hi,
Eva hi,
certainly.
certainly.
Translation. All of you must now give full support
All of you must now give full support
to grandfather Bhishma
to grandfather Bhishma
as you stand at your respective strategic points
as you stand at your respective strategic points
of entrance
of entrance
into the phalanx of the army.
into the phalanx of the army.
So Prabhupada writes in the purport, Duryodhana, after praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. So in the previous shlokas, we had been reading that Arjuna, first of all, praises the opposite side and the prowess of the Pandavas and other great fighters that had chosen to be on the side of the Pandavas in this great battle. And then he then looks at his own side. He starts by saying, you know, soldiers on my side are ready to give up their life for me, indicating how united their army was just for his benefit. He then compares Bhishma to Bhima. Now, the appropriate consideration or the comparison would have been Bhishma to Drishtadyumna, because Drishtadyumna was the commander in the army on the other side. So he was not making a like-to-like comparison. If Bhishma was the commander-in-chief on this side, Drishtadyumna would have been his opponent. But what does Duryodhana do? He says, my army is protected by Bhishmadev. The Pandavas are not that well protected because Bhima is not as good. You know, he's just like a fig leaf compared to Bhishmadev. So why is he bringing the name of Bhima? Because he's concerned. He knows that, you know, Bhima will be the cause of his death. So somehow or the other, he was comparing Bhishmadev to Bhima. So here, after praising Bhishma, he then also talks about all of the other great warriors. So he emphasized that Bhishmadev was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man. So everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight and the enemy might take advantage of this full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhana clearly felt that the victory of the Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishmadeva. He was confident of the full support of Bhishmadeva and Dronacharya in the battle because he well knew that they did not even speak a word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi, in her helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice, while she was being forced to appear naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly. Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up as they had done during the gambling performances. So he was hedging his bets that certainly if Bhishmadeva and Dronacharya did not raise a voice in opposition to what Dushyastan was doing, then maybe even though for them the Pandavas were their favorite, they would fully support the Kauravas for various reasons. So Duryodhana urged all the Kaurava generals to make sure they are around grandsire Bhishma and give him full support while they defend their own respective positions in the military phalanx. Duryodhana beheld Bhishma's unassailability. Unassailability means somebody who cannot be defeated, as an advantage, and wanted to use it as strength and inspiration for his own. Now, we said just as Dhritarashtra was experiencing doubt, and therefore the whole Bhagavad Gita begins with his question to Sanjaya, here Duryodhana is demonstrating his cleverness with words, his diplomacy. So let us see what his Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu says. Bhishma is our commander, and he may be caught up in fighting at a particular point, and he may not be able to pay attention to all other points, and all of you also play important roles. So here, Duryodhana is trying to get everyone involved. So we can see from a political point of view, Duryodhana is an expert. His speech is thoughtful. So we may think that Duryodhana is an impressive character. He's thinking so much before speaking each word. Yes, that is true. But we have to see that a person's caliber is determined not just by the expertise of the person's speech, but by the purity of the person's motive. And his motives are not pure, and his motives are filled with greed and anger, filled with envy. So sometimes we may get fooled by another person's diplomatic words, right? They may have ulterior motives. So a wise person is very well aware that they can see past a person's words and go down deep into what is it that is actually guiding them, right? So similarly here, although Duryodhana is very expert in speech, but behind that speech there is a motive. His motive is filled with greed and anger. It's filled with envy. In Mahabharata, Duryodhana was considered a personification of adharma and an incarnation of Kali, who came to start off Kali Yuga. He was an amsha of Kali. If a person is expert in speaking and thinking, it is good. But more important is what is in his heart, what is his intention. If a person is expert in speaking, but his intention is evil, then it is like Maninam Bhushanam Sharpah Kim Ashonaha Bhayankaraha example. A serpent is decorated by jewels, so jewels are attractive, but the serpent is still dangerous. And instead of being cautious because of seeing the serpent, we become attracted by seeing the jewel and we go towards him instead of away from him. So certainly, some people externally may appear to be very friendly and very kind, but we have to be careful about what is their intent. So simply an expert speaker does not necessarily tell you that he is a person of great character. You have to go beyond. This is, after all, Kali Yuga. You can get cheated very easily. Sometimes people with demonic propensities have material skills and expertise. We get enamored by that. And because of that, we may lower our guard down and start appreciating and admiring them and become contaminated by their godless, materialistic, immoral ideas. So we have to be cautious. We should see the intentions and not just the skills possessed by the individuals. And from that, we should judge the character. So even in spiritual things, we should not just get attracted by good speech. We have to be cautious by seeing intention and character of the people. One of the prominent characters in Kali Yuga is characteristics, I would say, is Shabda Chapalyam. Expert in word jugglery is considered as a sign of scholarship. So all of us have to be very, very careful. Even when we are in the spiritual realm, we have to be careful. Who are we attracted to as a guru? Is it just that they are an expert speaker and that impresses you and therefore you take guidance from them? Or is there far more depth in that person as a guide that you can really be dependent on? Right? So it's a very important instruction for us, reading the commentary and understanding that some people in Kali Yuga are only out to cheat you. So you have to be on guard, you have to be careful. So how do you do that? Well, you need to develop and deeper understanding of the scriptures so that you're able to distinguish between someone who is really honest with someone who's not so honest. So that's the essence of the shloka, where Duryodhana is encouraging all of the others, yes, you must support grandfather Bhishma. Don't forget, he'll be so busy fighting, he may not be able to defend himself from all different directions. So it is our duty and responsibility to protect the most important person on the battlefield on our side, which is grandfather Bhishma.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.